when the ball is that close to the goal line, especially on prime time anyway, but when that ball is that close to the goal line, the officials review that every single time. They go back, or that they take a second to say, did he cross the plane? He's right on the plane marker. Let's make sure. No reviews. It was absolutely no reviews on second and third down. And the egregious, the horrible. That had to be top 3 worst call I've seen this season in offsides.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, JMack, a.k.a. JMack, on another episode to recap a very, very abysmal, disappointing, unfortunate loss in Detroit, Michigan. The Broncos drop their 7th game of the season, dropped to 500 by a score of 42-17. This is a very, very all-around definitely one of the rougher losses of the season. Dan Campbell, one of the apprentices of Sean Payton, gets the best of him in this game. Really sucks, man. Ben Johnson for the Lions called a great game. Before we go and jump into all of our takeaways and everything, before we go ahead and start criticizing, certain officiating or Broncos or the Lions or whatever, I just want to say and I usually don't ever say this, but GG's to the Lions, man. I will say they're a pretty fucking good football team. I have a lot of respect for Lions fans, the Lions football organization, the coaching staff, and I just want to put that out there. GG's to a lot of the Lions fans out there. But yeah, all around, just a rough game on the Broncos end. Offense, defense, special teams really just got their tails kicked. So yeah, shout out to all the Lions coaches and players over there. They put together a really good game plan and everything. But JMack, how are we feeling after the game, brother? It's a tough loss. Broncos 7-7 now. Well, what's your first thoughts?
It's like you said, it's a tough loss. All in all, though, I'm not really too upset about it. I said, a long time ago before the Bills game that I thought we could have lost we had to go 6-8. Win 6 out of our next 8 to really have a chance at making the playoffs. And the 2 losses we kind of predicted. Obviously, we all picked the Broncos, but we picked that there was 2 games we're going to lose. It was going to be to the Texans and the Lions. And I think, this game was kind of more like the Texans game. A lot of stuff we beat ourselves, but, kudos to the Lions. The Lions are actually a really good football team. And, sometimes you get smacked in the mouth and there's really nothing you can do about it. But, yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree. I even see some people on Twitter saying, sometimes once in a while, a team on a hot streak they get humbled. That's you kind of see it in the NFL every now and then. You see it happen to the best football teams. It happens. I'm not trying to give excuses. We're about to literally pour on a bunch of criticizing of different players and coaches and whatever. But yeah, just to for our intro and everything, it happens. Maybe this team did need a humbling, but the bad part about this is, though, we talked about this game, even though it's against an NFC opponent, you really did need to win this game because you obviously, if we win out, we're probably going to be in the playoffs. We still need a few things to happen as well, though. But obviously, if we go 10-7, we're likely going to be grabbing that 7th seed. But it makes it much more tougher, man, because you got 2 divisional opponents. I still think we're sweeping the Chargers. But you gotta as of late, the Patriots defense, statistically, they're playing top 5 in the league right now. It's definitely, they're all winnable games. We all can agree with that. But it just makes it much more tougher. Now it's a do or die mode, because if you lose to the Patriots, your season's over. 9-8 is not getting it done. By a miracle, you could maybe, but most likely will not, especially with teams like the Bengals making a miracle run right now. And obviously the Bills aren't out of the race technically yet. So really 10-7 is what you're going to need to get it done. So that's what makes this loss just a lot more rougher, a lot more tough on the fan base and everything. And I just hope that the guys can rally around Sean Payton and really, put this loss behind them. Also, you learn from the mistakes, but, head back to Denver, get a big dub on Christmas Eve primetime against the Patriots. Let's go and start off with some of the main reasons why the Broncos dropped today's game. Number one, I think we could all agree, the offense was just putrid today. Horrible. No production in the first half, just 0 points. That really tells a story. The writing's on the wall. Offensive line had probably one of if not the worst game of the season. I know they only allowed 2 sacks, but the box score doesn't tell the full story, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure was just ridiculous today. They have Aiden Hutchinson. Derek Barnes is pretty good, but he did get hurt. Like, besides that, it's like it's not even that crazy of a pass rush unit, but they just kicked our asses up front today, like on both sides of the ball too. Just mauled us, bullied us, threw us around. Josie Jewell's getting thrown around by Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know that he's not a part of the defensive line, but you get the point. Like, they bullied us today. It's just, my opinion, the main reason we lost today, the offense wasn't able to put up points because the offensive line couldn't block to save their life. People are messaging me right now, Javonte Williams, only 12 rushing yards. He's washed. He's not the bro. Nobody was creating any damn running lanes.
Oh, man.
I get it. You guys want to come straight after me after Javonte has a bad game. Go for it. But the offensive line could not create any run lanes today. Could not pick up a blitz to save their life, and they could not protect Russ. I don't want to see anybody saying Russ had a shitty game today. I'm not mad at Russ today. I'm really not. Offensive line, you were ass today. That's just how I look at it. And on the other side of the ball as well, like I said, that's another reason why we lost. Just got beat up front on both sides of the trenches today.
Yeah, I think it really started. The reason why I said I really thought it was similar to the Texans game was because beginning of the game, opening drive, we had a chance to go down there and take a 7-0 lead, and they send a blitz to the side. It was a play action boot. They called the blitz to the perfect side. Got Russ, caught Russ off surprise, and the fumble happened. We're similar to the Texans game because remember, opening drive, Cortland Sutton had that big drop where if he catches that ball, I think we finish that drive with a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I think that those plays really changed the way of the game. I don't think it was just the offensive line play. Terrible. I'll shout out to Aaron Glenn because I thought it was going to be to me, it was kind of 50-50. I know people are going to say the offense. I mean, you said the offense had a terrible game. I mean, it was just blitzes. I mean, the offensive line, they really did what they could, but they sent so many different blitz packages. Brian Branch or whatever safety it was, literally coming from his safety spot, blitzing full speed all the way down to Russ was huge. Russ he should have fumbled more times than he did. Just all of the blind side. They were pulling all of his blind side. Just blitz would come from everywhere. And they found kind of a recipe on how to stop this offense is just blitz and get Russ out of rhythm. But yeah, I will say the running the football, I thought it was going to be way better than what it was. Javonte had no running lanes. Nobody really had any running lanes today. That's why I thought we would kind of see Russ running a little bit more, but we didn't. But I think the offensive line, they did what they could. I mean, when you're blitzing and you kind of saw the Broncos try to put guys in there to chip, and it just didn't work. Like, it wasn't that Aiden Hutchinson didn't need to be chipped. He wasn't the guy really getting home. The guys getting home was the safeties and the linebackers blitzing in the slot corners. But I want to say really one of the main reasons why we lost this game was just we got picked apart. It was no pass rush. Usually guys get home on some plays, but we got picked apart. And I think, we just couldn't get that one stop. I'm going to go on another reason why I feel like this game didn't go our way, but the main reason was we got picked apart. Fabian Moreau, it was one of his worst games, but I won't really blame him. I mean, it was really good coverage. A lot of guys just made some incredible catches. Goff put it on the money, which I really didn't expect him to. But, yeah, I mean, Goff just picked us apart. Didn't really matter what matchup it was. They exploited all the matchups all across the board, really. And, yeah, Goff just picked us apart, man, plain and simple. No pass rush.
Also, the reason I'm not even I know 42 points is crazy and people are already calling for Vance Joseph's job again. Like that's going to do anything at this point in the season. But they're saying this is a repeat of the Miami game. It's it's not close to that. But yeah, the reason I'm saying that and I'm defending the defense is because they were on the field for the entire fucking game today. Yeah.
They were
the entire first half. I literally, you can judge Fabian Moreau or whoever else you want all day, but they were on the field more than the offense was. Like the Broncos that win the way they win football games is they have to win the turnover battle and give the offense good, starting field position like almost every drive it feels like, and you also have to dominate the time of possession. And the Broncos just got completely swept in both of those. Today, obviously takeaways wasn't really a big difference in this one. It was really just a 1-0, but it feels like this team, you have to at least win the turnover battle by one or at least two for us to barely win games. And I said this after the Texans game too. It's like, I feel like if this team does not win the turnover battle, like you saw in that CJ Stroud not turning the ball over, that whole Texans team offense, it feels like we're guaranteed to lose. Like, I know we were so close to winning that game, but like when you're losing the turnover battle 3-0, 4-0, whatever it was, like it feels like you're just guaranteed to lose. You're being yourselves. But today, man, we just got outplayed. Like you said, Aaron Glenn called a hell of a game. He knew exactly how to attack this Sean Payton offense, and honestly, it felt like there was always just like an extra rusher than we had blockers. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt for that. But I do feel like several, like Ben Powers' pass protection was not great today. I feel like a few other players were just their one-on-one matchups, they didn't handle the job. Like we just got outworked, man. We got outplayed, we got outperformed, outcoached. That's really the way it sucks to say that, man, because Sean Payton, we were literally just calling him the head coach of the year front runner. And I still think he could take that home, but it's a tough game, man. The Lions, they deserve the credit, man. They're legit. They're legit. So
yeah, in my opinion, I think from top to bottom, the Lions definitely have a top 3 coaching, like a coaching staff in the league. I mean, that's just my opinion. I really like what they got going over there.
Ben
They know how to
Johnson's
motivate guys.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but Aaron Glenn, he isn't. I mean, they don't really have a lot of great players, but I mean, he showed today again why he gets head coaching interviews. I know I talked about him like that defense been playing bad, but it's not really all on him. I mean, he showed me today he knows how to call a game and he knows how to play to. You mean you got what you got to do, man? Because he knows the secondary is terrible. So how to show that they're not that bad? Just send a few of them. Just send a safety or a corner on the blitz every now and then, and just hope they get home. But I'm gonna say this. I think. Another reason why I want to say I don't want to blame too much on them. Obviously, more in the game went into this, but I mean the refs were terrible. Like they were awful in this game. I think the Broncos. I really wasn't too worried. We were down 21-0 at half because today in today's NFL 21-0 is like it's you guys come back from that. Teams come back from that every week. So I wasn't really too down about that. We had a chance to make it a 2-possession game. I think it was make it 14-28 or was it? I can't remember what we could have made it. And the refs just botched it. They clearly missed in another thing at the beginning of the game when we were driving the ball really well on 3rd down. Russ hit Troutman, clear. I mean, just clear helmet to helmet. Didn't call it nothing, and then man, we scored a touchdown on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down. And I know people are sitting there like, man, the Broncos got to challenge it. Look, I watch a lot of football games. I watch Red Zone. I watch a lot of individual games. When the ball is that close to the goal line, especially on prime time anyway, but when that ball is that close to the goal line, the officials review that every single time. They go back or did they take a second to say, did he cross the plane? He's right on the plane marker. Let's make sure. No reviews. It was absolutely no reviews on 2nd and 3rd down. And the egregious, the horrible. That had to be top 3 worst call I've seen this season in offsides. And they're talking about the tip of his helmet. Are we serious? It's not a penalty. That to me, I didn't see nobody offsides. The broadcast said they saw nobody offsides. That really kind of just took the air out of the game. You had to get the field goal,
Yeah, it felt like that was the breaking point where we could have made it closer.
All right, yeah, we're not making a comeback. It's over. Because look, we got down there quick. We can score, made a 2-possession game. The defense, they're motivated because they're like, okay, offense scoring. Like all we need to do is get this one stop, and you never know how the game could go. But you make a terrible. And Sean Payton, I don't know why he yelled at Russ. I thought it was hilarious, but I don't know why he yelled at Russ.
It was because he changed the play at the line. He made an audible.
Yeah, he made the play to the Javonte pitch, but Javonte scored. Which he'll see on the replay. McLaughlin scored 2, and Burton scored, but 3 touchdowns called back in a row. I mean, that was again. I said I was really hot. I was really pissed because I've never seen that ever happen where the refs just don't review that close to a touchdown. I've never seen that, but I don't want to say we lost this game strictly because of the refs, but I think they did play a huge role, and they they were on the Lions side, and I know that's part of home field advantage sometimes, but come on, man, like Kareem Jackson is suspended right now for making helmet to helmet hits like the one on Josh Dobbs. And people on Twitter, people everywhere are saying, well, Branch didn't mean it. He didn't, he didn't lean in with his head. Well, I don't want to hear that because our guys get suspended for the same thing. Like, it's just the refs, man, they got to do better. And it seems like it's in the NBA too, but the NFL has got to do way better than this, man. Because, come on. Like, man, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was very, very, very hard to watch. 3 plays in a row where it's clearly evident that they are breaking the plane and it's still not being reviewed. It's still getting the wrong call on the field. Like it's just
Right.
like it's literally if I'm a different even I saw some Lions fans on Twitter. They're
Yeah,
like,
like
"Bro, are you serious? Like this is the way we're going to call the game, man." Like
ooh.
also I get it. Like they should have reviewed those, but why didn't Sean Payne throw a challenge flag? I don't get it.
I mean, like he should have threw the challenge flag. I'm not gonna let him off the hook for that one. But my whole thing is like he's thinking like let's just hurt like the clock is still. I don't know. I feel like he should have thrown the challenge flag. It just seems like it was moving very at a fast pace. Like
Yeah.
that whole bat, it was moving very fast. I feel like he should have thrown the challenge flag. I'm surprised nobody told him, "Hey, Sean, throw the flag." Like I crossed the plane, or somebody up in the booth like, "Hey, Sean, Javonte crossed the plane."
Yeah.
But it's just like it's hard because then if you go late, like the next drive, when Marvin Mims caught the ball out of bounds, they reviewed that play. How do you review a play like that, but don't review a play at the goal line?
Pick and choose.
Like you can't pick and that's come on, man. That's ticky tack. Like now you're just saying, like I understand the game to some people 28-7 might be over, but come on, man. Like it's a whole quarter left. We just seen Tennessee come back down 2 scores in under 3 minutes. Like, come on, man. You like I know the rest probably think the game is over, but you got to give us a chance. You can't just not review a play like that. Like 2 plays like that at the 1. Come on, man. You can't do that. Where you like, and I want to hear, well, I mean, the rest, they saw it. No, they didn't. Ain't no way you on both of the plays, you couldn't even tell. Like, you can't tell just by looking at that. I'm sorry, you can't. There are players blocking the view, but it's just hard.
Those plays, they do impact the results of the game. I know a lot of people may think we're delusional saying this, but look back at week 4 against the Bears. We came back 28-7 and won the game. Look back at the Lions and the Saints just 2 weeks ago. I know the Lions won, but they nearly blew a 21-point lead. So like these plays do matter. We absolutely 100% got robbed 3 plays in a row. Just wild by the who's surprised at this point, really. Like at this point I don't even really get mad by it, and I know we got destroyed today. So it makes that much easier to like not be super mad about it. And maybe if it's a close game like the Commanders game where I'm still pissed off about that play,
God, bro.
but at the same time, like the officiating needs to be like spot on throughout a whole. I know they're not going to be perfect. We're all humans and all that. People make mistakes, but it's everything. It's like every series thing in every single game. Like it's getting out of hand. They pick and choose when they want to review plays. Like what the hell? Like Roger Goodell, are we gonna make any differences with this? Like we need to start giving them punishments too. Start giving the refs
man,
punishment.
like something like
why are we punishing the players all the time, but the refs don't get any type of damn punishment?
Yeah, like come on, like they have the power to dictate so much, and it's like when they mess up, it's just, oh man, you're not making the Pro Bowl. You're not going to the Super Bowl. Like what? Like come on, bro. Like it's got to be more of a punishment to that. Like if you're blowing, like those are touchdowns. I don't care what anybody want to say. Like it's that makes it a 2-possession game with I can't remember how much time was left, but you had most of the third quarter left and a whole fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and we had to settle for a field goal. That was hard to watch. I was in disbelief. I could not believe that they just didn't like take a second to say. The last players under review. How hard would that have been just to make sure you didn't make the wrong call?
Exactly.
It's poor, man. It's terrible.
Yeah. Also in today's game, tackling was just horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. You can't really. I know we were a little bit, defending the defense a little bit, but man, the tackling is inexcusable. We can't randomly just keep be amazing at tackling one week and the next week just look like this. Like it's getting out of hand, and it always seems like it's against the really fast-paced offenses. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, he was looking like prime Barry Sanders today. Like I don't know, man. We just could not tackle the dude to save your life. It feels like it felt like almost like a mini version of Devon A-Chain in week 3, where he just running past guys and guys are just like barely, getting a hand on him, and he's just doing whatever he wants, like throwing guys around. Like it's another week where the Broncos defense just feels like it's a little bit too slow for fast-paced offenses. And that's just the way you can't play like that. I mean, any quick quick pace offense. They know they can get a ball in a speedy receiver's hands or a pass catching running back, and they know they're going to do work with our defense. Because when you have a guy like Josie Jewell missing 100 tackles in today's game, it's going to be pretty easy for you to pick up first downs in short space.
Yeah, it's the same thing like you said in the Miami game. When you got fast guys, I just feel like I thought Van Joseph would maybe adjust, just in general, like run a little bit more man coverage than zone. Goff was killing us in zone. When you're going up against a team like that where their offense is built for the play action, that means there's gonna be a lot of slip outs. So running man is kind of the best. But Josie Jewell didn't have his best game today. I mean, it was plays where he was just. I saw him sitting. I think it was a third down, maybe in the first half, when Goff had pressure and he hit Laporta, and Josie Jewell just kind of sitting there, like, come on, man, like wake up. But I mean, it's been like that. Like these Van Joseph defenses, I'm not trying to get on them or anything, but they're known. I mean, we know this. They're known for being not the best at tackling. They were better at it over the last few weeks, but I mean, today it was pretty bad. But the Lions are a fast team. It was just, I thought we were going to match up better with them. I didn't really like how the matchups looked, like just in terms of like what DBs, like who we had on who today. I didn't really like the matchups. I didn't like Surtain on Laporta. I'm like, you got Justin Simmons. Like, why? I didn't like seeing PJ Locke playing a lot of corner. I mean, he did great, but I mean, I saw one play, Mike Purcell was in zone. I think they had him on a spy or something. I was like, what the hell is Van Joseph calling? Like, I don't ever want to see how they had Alex Singleton on Khalif Raymond. I'm like,
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like, nah. I'm like, because today looked like the days where he called an Arizona defense. Matchups are kind of all over the place. Ben Johnson definitely had to throw him a curveball or something. I don't know what happened, but Jordan touched on it. Yeah, Jordan touched on it that it was going to be a coaching mismatch. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but, I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, I'm going to go back and watch all the film on it and be like, God, Ben Johnson killed him.
Yeah, when I look at it, I don't think he intentionally was putting these like linebackers on a quick, speedy receiver. It was literally just like our play calls weren't matched to their play calls, and it's like your defense can't really audible and change the whole formation. So whatever you're kind of aligned to, like you can switch, make little bit switches from here and there, like on certain parts of the field, depending if you're a man or zone. But it felt like, man, like I'm not saying it's a play calling at all. I just feel like they definitely got the best of us with like mismatches on like at wide receiver, tight end, and I like you bring up the Justice Simmons thing too. Like I feel like he did so well against TJ Hawkinson against the Vikings, and you just didn't see him at all Sam Laporta today. And Justice Simmons had one of the only good games in our secondary today besides PS2. Like he did play well. So speaking of the secondary, I thought PJ Locke had a pretty bad game as well. Huge fan of PJ Locke. Still think he's our franchise safety. I want to see him starting for the remainder of the season. Absolutely. But he definitely missed a few tackles today, around 2 to 3, and was not that great in coverage. Got beat off the line of scrimmage a little bit in zone. So looking to see him bounce back, but not too worried about it at all though.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, man, they got picked apart. But I think, moving forward, I think they'll be fine. I think they kind of needed this. They've been dominating the league over the last like month or so. So, I mean, this is definitely humbling, but I think they'll learn from it. I think, they just, to me, it just came down. He just got out coached. Like that's just what Van Joseph he got beat today. And, he hasn't got beat in a while. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about PJ. I think PJ will bounce back. I mean, he still made some good plays. It was just like you said, the missed tackles, and he would just put out of place. They had him one-on-one on some guys that he shouldn't have been one-on-one against. So really tough matchups for a safety. Like, come on, man. But he made a good play. He made a good breakup in the end zone that saved the touchdown. Like it was really, I'm like, he looked like PS2 on that breakup. Like he looked, but overall, he'll bounce back.
Yeah, he still shows very, very promising flashes, especially when he's playing one-on-one. It's not even K-Jack was doing what he's doing. They're asking a lot out of PJ. Like, I hope people realize that, take that into account. So we talked about the tackling, offensive line. So that wraps up pretty much most of the bad in today's game. So good. I think probably the only good thing that came out of today's game, we talked about Justin Simmons having a good game, obviously, all that. I thought Jerry Jeudy had a pretty good bounce back game today. Like maybe there's a few plays here and there, but overall led the team in targets, led the team in receptions, receiving yards. Like thought he's pretty much the only life of our offense today.
Yeah, and he needs to be in the slot a lot more, in my opinion. I think should be his go-to moving forward. But I did like what I saw in the second half, moving the ball. I know the Lions are playing a lot of like prevent and everything, so the offense, they look a little better than they usually do. But yeah, I was surprised. I mean, he got like 7 targets today.
Yeah,
that's not normal. But I did like what he did. It showed that you give him the ball, he's gonna make plays. He made some really good ones. I think Sean's gonna start giving him the ball more. And I'm kind of mad that it took this long for him to realize it, but I mean he's gonna give him the ball more, I think, moving forward. A positive I do want to say, Drew Sanders and Riley Moss, they played today, and I'm not gonna lie, they played pretty good. Like Riley Moss had that huge tackle on special teams, which is, I mean, that was a really good tackle because most guys break out of that like 99% of the time. And Drew Sanders I was surprised that he was playing. They played him at edge. They dropped him back in some coverage. And Chris Harris even tweeted, like, once the game slows down for Drew Sanders, he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be one of those guys that Broncos are going to be able to do so much with him. And he's going to be, like I said before, he's going to be one of our really good linebackers moving forward. Because, I mean, today it was just a little glimpse of it. You could see, like, the speed is ridiculous. Just the way he was just flying, like, they had him in coverage on some plays, and he did really well.
Yeah, he's so raw to the position too. Like he literally is coming off playing linebacker at Arkansas. They were forced him to play linebacker the first chunk of games this season, and they're finally moving over to edge. And it feels like he's just kind of learning things right now. He's just kind of trying to get the grasp of the game and learning the edge position, similar to how Baron Browning was before he started playing pretty solid this year. But yeah, overall, the pass rush unit did not get the most pressure today, but there's still some promising flashes from Drew Sanders and company. I'm still a really big fan of Baron Browning. He made a few good plays, but overall, I'm still full on board. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show. Like we need edge in the first round. In my opinion, edge has to be priority first round. Like you gotta. I don't care if you trade up or trade down to get someone. Like, please, I don't care if you double dip, go back-to-back edge rushers. Like, we need edge so damn bad. Like, we really do. It feels like pressure is just a consistent issue every week, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think depth in the interior, too, because Tyler Lancaster and Matt Henningsen, look, man, I mean, Jesus Christ. You just need better depth all around, I think, at the defensive line. Like, I see people mocking us to get Chopper Robinson. Hopefully he's available. But, yeah, definitely edge. If not, sign somebody instantly. I don't care. Look, the Broncos, your money has to go to the pass rush because let's not get it. The secondary is fine. Nobody is tripping about the secondary, but you need to get some pressure up front because it's like every other game. You know what I'm saying? Like one game is like this. The next game is like the Chargers game where they just go ballistic. But, yeah, we definitely need some help on the edge. I mean, Jonathan Cooper, they're not playing bad. It's not consistent enough. Like, I mean, they're like Jonathan Cooper reminds me of like some of the guys we had when we won the Super Bowl. Great depth pieces that can come in when the starters, like on a rotation that can do really well. But we need a premier guy, and we need one really, really bad. Like I think that's gonna be the main issue that we're trying to fix. I know people are gonna put, we need a quarterback, we need a wide receiver, we need edge. The edge has to be the number one position on all across the board. Everybody in that building has to be edge rusher.
We are missing a Batman to a Robin right now. We only have 1B pass rushers on our roster right now. Yes. We don't have a 1A. That's what I feel like. That's where I'm not giving a knack on Nick Benito, Baron Browning, Jonathan Cooper. Those are good pass rushers, but they're not going to get it done themselves. Like we need them as the complement to, like the Jets taking Will McDonald and kind of transforming their pass rush, like something like that. Like we need to find a Batman in this upcoming first round of the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah. Or in free agents. It's some really good edge rusher free agents.
Yeah,
I know we've been linked to Daniel Hunter. I feel like the Vikings go offer him a bag, though, because he might finish leading the league in sacks. It's like a 4-way tie between some guys. But, man, if he hits the market, Broncos better throw whatever change they have, any money they have, throw it at Daniel Hunter. Because he could change his defense drastically.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, that's pretty much it for today's show. Like I said, man, tough loss, 42-17. Never want to see your team go down by that much. But I just want to end off the show saying there is still hope. If the
Yeah.
Broncos win out, they are more, I believe they have a 92, 90,
Yes.
something like that percent chance to go into the playoffs. Like still very, very favorable chances because of our division wins over the Chiefs, the Chargers, and obviously taking down the Bills and other teams during that win streak. And it's a very favorable schedule as well. So that's what makes it, still much easier. I know we dropped to like the 11th seed or something like that, but after Sunday, we should go up a little bit more. Just another reminder of the teams you should be rooting for tomorrow on Sunday. If you guys are listening to the show tonight on Saturday or tomorrow, whenever, you should be rooting number one for Dallas over Buffalo. Me, big time Cowboys fans tomorrow, and then also root for Tennessee over Houston. CJ Stroud is out for that one. Former Broncos quarterback Case Keenum will be getting his first start in quite some time, so I think Tennessee could play a spoiler in that one after they beat the Dolphins previously. Also root for Bears over the Browns. Root for the Ravens over the Jags. Root for New England over KC, and root for the Dolphins over New York. So hopefully with those games and the rooting schedule, the Broncos can jump up a few seeds and they can take back control, for that 7th seed over New England on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I want to end off on a good note too. Look, man, tough loss, but I think we'll be fine. I think out of everybody left, we got the easiest schedule. I know KC's got a pretty easy one, but I think it's very manageable. If the Broncos, like, hey, look, man, it's literally win or go home. Like, if you lose any one of these 3 games, you're not in. Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to make it. But I think we can run the table. I think this is the one loss that we needed moving forward. Like, I feel like this was the loss that's like, okay, now we're good. Like, let's just lock in on these. And I mean, it's 2 divisional games. Look, the Chargers and the Raiders. Look, I mean, the Chargers and the Patriots, I think we'll win those games. The Patriots game is at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll win that game. The Chargers game is at home, and the Raiders game. Now, that's the one game I'm not really too worried about it. It's a little concerning. I won't lie and say I'm not. I'm gonna be a little nervous, obviously, but I think we'll take care of business. I don't. Even though the Raiders just whooped on it, I mean, the Chargers they're a train wreck. But I mean, just Bronco fans, I think we'll be fine. I think that we will win out. The Raiders game kind of scared me, but I think we'll be good. I think we'll find a way to come out and win it. I don't think the Raiders have enough just to beat us. I'll be honest. I just don't see it happening. I think the Broncos know what's at stake. I think they know they have to win out. Every game here on out is a playoff game. Literally, it's either win or go home because you can't lose. Like, unless some drastic happens where, Lord behold, KC lose to New England or the Bears upset the Browns or something crazy like that happening, you got to win out. Like, there's 100%, like, you have a 92% chance to make it if you win out. And that's why I really wasn't tripping because we went from 99 to 92. So I still think we'll make it. Bronco fans will be good.
Yeah. Broncos truly do control their own destiny to the playoffs. Very, very excited for these next 3 games. Our episodes are about to get crazy. Speaking of, stay tuned for this upcoming week. We have arguably probably our best guest on the show ever. So don't want to build up the hype too much on that. But for those of you guys that stayed to the very end, you guys will be the only ones that know about this guest coming on the show. So make sure you guys stay tuned on the show, whether you're listening on YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe, help us grow our channel. Stay tuned for that by turning on post notifications. And please show support over there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But with that being said, I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, JMack. Till the next one, peace out, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.